welcome to WDG TV. Another week of information about UK construction sites. Today we've got Martin McGrath from Profile Projects up in Dunfermline. Hello Martin, thanks for joining us on WDG TV.
Hi Carl, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, I'm good. Right, so if you could tell us a little bit about yourself first of all. How long have you been involved in the construction industry?
Yeah, well initially I worked for an interior partition manufacturer over 25 years ago, and since then I've predominantly been involved in interior fit-outs with dry lining, partitions and sealants.
Okay. So what, I mean, you're in Dunfermline, what kind of, did you just primarily do work in Dunfermline or do you work wider field?
It's pretty much the length of Scotland, pretty much up to Aberdeen, depending on what's going on. Through the central belt, and then again, depending what clients we've got, then we work within the north of England.
Right.
Work with the same clients.
Okay. So do you find that you use as a contractor? Do you find that you use a lot of? Do you tend to hire your workers, or do you use agencies from time to time?
The majority of the guys have worked for me for over 20 years, but like everybody else, depending on the workload, you need to go to some agencies to pick up. In the main, general labour, there was materials, clear debris, but obviously we have situations where we need joiners as well. Okay,
right, okay. So, I mean, what would you say the comparison is between if you hire somebody from the likes of Indeed or you use an employment agency? What swings you to use an agency rather than, if you like, putting an ad in Indeed? Or is it just the fact that it's just easier to use an agency? Or, I mean, what's the difference for you when you get to that point and you're thinking, right, now I want to hire somebody? What's that process with you?
Well, I mean, we would generally deal with agencies because you can get them quicker. You'd like to hope that they're being vetted, and obviously from the point of view of if it's a short-term contract, it's easier to pick them up and let them go.
You're right. So it's just the whole process is quicker and so on. Have you ever, not to lead the conversation, but have you ever found situations when you've had lads on site and they've not been completely told the full story of what they're doing or the length of the project?
I think that's a common problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're obviously pretty straightforward with the agencies that we deal with. If we're kicking off a job for general labourers, I'll just give them the duration on site.
Yeah.
But if it's joiners that we're looking for, which is basically at the tail end of the job, it's a week to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks work.
Right.
We're pretty straightforward with that point of view, but I don't think the agency guys, a lot of the times they don't give them the full story.
Right, okay, so you feel sometimes that they're not given the right information of what the job is, so they'll come up and they'll think it's a certain type of work, or they'll just be told it's 2-3 months work, and of course it's not, it's a week, it's 2 weeks work, and then you get a pissed off worker working for you, correct, pretty much?
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about tools, equipment? Do you expect that, do you expect at Profile Projects that you have the workers that turn up have their own equipment, or do you provide the equipment for these individuals?
Nah, the only thing that we would provide them would be any access plan and temporary lighting. For the point of view of screw guns and stuff like that, we'd expect them to come forward to that.
Okay. And I mean, let me just move on to something else. Okay, so you've been in the industry obviously quite a long time. Do you feel, since you started using agencies, let's say 20 years ago compared to now, do you feel there's been a change or a shift in the quality of the labour? Do you think is it getting better with agencies, or do you feel that the quality's going down?
No, I think, from my point of view, the agency joiner-wise is the last resort, because these guys predominantly know they're there for a short period of time. They're happy to work whatever hours they get, based on an hourly rate, and the production's next to nothing.
Yeah, so you end up with a situation that the worker knows it doesn't matter how well he works, he's got to turn up and basically do the job. But, moving on, it's not like they're building anything for themselves. They've just got to do the job and get off. And that, if you like, the motive to be there is really just to make some money now, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now, I know we've had a few conversations in the past about this, but what so just to let the audience know, what we've done over the past 5 years with WDG Employment, we've created an app that allows the contractor to download the app for free. It's a completely free service. When you want a worker to work on one of your sites, a joiner, for example, or a dry liner, you would get on there, you'd put the site address, you put the postcode, you'd put how much you want that worker to be paid, so you can be sure the worker is getting the money that you know he should be getting. You fill the details, job description, tickets required, and so on. You press send. Within a second or 2 seconds maximum, and every joiner or dry liner within 25-mile radius of that postcode area will get a notification with a brief breakdown of who you are as a business. Basically, you're not giving your company profile details, but they're given, okay, everything is basically hidden until you actually hire the individual. So they see the pay rate, they see the job description, when you need them, how long the work is, what the pay rate is. And if they're interested in that vacancy, they'll press yes. Instantly, this will go to your app and you'll get a notification. Then what you do is you just click onto it and you'll see a list of all the individuals that are ready to go on that date at that price that you've said. Now, all we charge as an app is just, instead of it being 25, 30%, we just charge 9% over the worker's wage, keeping in mind that you actually set the rate of pay that the worker gets, so you've got full control over it. Then what will happen is you'll see a list of workers. All of those workers will have worker reliability scores, and that will be based on the contractors that they've previously worked for. So what this means is, if they do a good job on the first job and the second job and the third job, that rating score actually increases and goes up. So that means that it takes a period of time to do this. So instead of, if you like, working with an agency and you just work and then you get off, what this does is it allows them to build something for themselves. You pick the worker then goes to your contract, you work in. When you need the timesheet done, you just go onto the timesheet portal, you put the hours, click, you pay it, they're done. That's it. And on top of that, with the umbrella, do you know much about the umbrella companies that work with these agencies with the workers?
It's a bit naughty, isn't it?
Yeah, they're basically what the umbrella companies will do. They'll take about £20 to £25 a week off these lads for paying their wages. Yeah. What we do is we pay that fee. So that the fee that we charge you, which is just the 9%, we actually do that. We pay that fee. Okay. So the workers don't actually have to pay a fee. So it's a good thing for the workers, so they can build a score. They don't have to pay the umbrella costs. You can pick the worker. I mean, this is a kind of real life conversation. You as a contractor, just for the benefit of the workers out there, do you think this is something that you would find? Keeping in mind you can fill these vacancies in minutes, not hours. Would you prefer to be able to go click, 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 you're done, and pick your own worker?
For sure. The biggest issue that we've got is the experience that the guys have got, the quality of the workmanship, and just how they go about and police themselves on the site. Because, as I said, the issues that we have in the past, it's towards the end of the job's probably running late through all of hours.
Yeah.
The main contractor's just looking for bodies on the job.
Yeah.
But with that, they need to produce, and that's the problem that we have. We put the bodies on the job, but it's really just a head count.
Absolutely. So that's why, Martin, we put the score in. So when this worker's working, he knows that you're going to be rating him. So if you give him a good rating, which you do on every single timesheet, if you give him that good rating on his next job, that's actually going to help him to make more money on his next contract. So it's a great benefit to the actual individual worker to sort of, you know, work with you guys and make sure, you know, when that last day is the last day, he gives it 100% because he doesn't want you to mark him down. So do you think the fact that we're working on this basis, do you think that's a benefit to you as a contractor, having that control over that very last hour?
Definitely. I mean, the majority of the guys like myself who take these people on pretty much know what they're going to get. They're just filling a void that the main contractor wants to see additional men on the site.
Yeah.
They're not overly fussed about the production that these guys have as long as there's somebody in a space on the job doing something. So if we can physically see what these guys are capable of, then it's a win-win for everyone. It
is. And I mean, of course, I mean, you know that, just to jump back on you as a contractor saying how much you want the worker to get, I'm trying not to lead the conversation with this, but I mean, we developed it for the purposes of workers, construction workers and construction contractors. The fact that you can actually pick the rate that worker gets, I think that's a great thing, because what you'll find, obviously, with agencies, they'll example say to you, you'll say, I want to join, and they'll say, okay, £18 an hour, and they will absolutely try to get the cheapest possible joiner they can possibly find so they can increase their margin.
Yeah.
Obviously, with this kind of system, you know, I mean, obviously with this, you know how much that temp's getting, so it's better for the worker, because there's no middleman in the middle to make things confusing, if you know what I mean. What do you think about Brit X? What are your thoughts on that? Just thinking about it.
It's a difficult one. There's been loads of jobs setting up in Scotland where the developer has rescheduled start dates based on that. I mean, from that point of view, I don't think it's going to make that much difference to us. We're obviously in the food chain. As long as the developers are getting their funds and the jobs are going ahead, then it shouldn't be an issue.
What do you think about the amount of labour in the UK and Scotland? Do you think it's going to decrease because there'll just simply be less labour coming in?
Well, but to be fair, I mean, we're obviously, everyone at the moment's using a lot of foreign labour, but these guys historically started off super cheap.
Yeah.
Because obviously they weren't familiar with the sort of labour rates that the British people were getting paid, and they're now getting paid the same rate as everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guest on the show last week, and he seemed to think that the fact that when he thinks there'll be a point at the beginning when the cost of labour is going to increase for perhaps a year or 2 years, and then it'll fall down as the government starts pushing, you know, like the old YTS schemes, they start pushing individuals into training. So, you know, you leave school and you get a trade, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have just taken on a couple of apprentices, so
okay.
We're looking to the point of view, bringing the guys through, young guys, because all our labour, because these guys have worked on this for such a long period of time, they're all kind of getting towards the end of their term, if you know what I mean.
Okay. And where do you get your, just for the people out there, where do you get your apprentices from? How does somebody become an apprentice? If somebody wants to be an apprentice, how do they do that?
Well, we just approached the CITB, who obviously are a member, who we pay our fees, and they source them for us.
Okay.
We obviously tell them where the guys are expected to live, just for the logistics, getting to work, because again we provide vans, and what I've done is the apprentices will put them with two experienced guys.
Okay.
That's how we're going to proceed.
Okay, and how long does an apprentice usually stay with you?
Well, these guys have just commenced, but I would expect them to basically run its full course. I mean, as I said, the guys...
What is that? What is that course? Is it a year or 2 years?
Oh no, I'd expect them to, once they pass their exams, they would just pay us.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we look after the guys that work for us.
Okay. So yeah, so you basically you want your primary thing for taking as apprentice. You want this person not to train up and then leave. You want them to stay with you.
Exactly that.
Okay, very good. Well, there you heard it from Martin McGrath at Profile Projects. Download the app on iTunes or on Google Play. That's WDG Employment. Download that and find yourself work. Thank you again, Martin, for joining us, and we hope to maybe speak to you again in the future.
Okay, no worries.
All right, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.